Okay, so we're going to show how to glue together pieces of PVC pipe. There's different types of PVC, different sizes, different types of connectors, and for the different types of PVC pipe there's also different types of glue. So you want to make sure you've got the right glue and the right primer for the PVC pipe you're using. I'm using PVC pipe that I typically use to install sprinklers in my yard. And here's an example of a fitting that's been put together already. So a common thing to do is you're going to start with a length of PVC pipe, or let's pretend we are, and you need to cut it to a certain length. You go measure it yourself and do that. And here's an example where I've cut it by hand. You can see it's a little bit uneven, but that's what happens when you do it by hand. There are also cutters that you can buy that will cut and make a nice square cut right off the bat. When you do it by hand like I did, you want to try to square off the end, which you can do with a file, rougher than this, and you also want to take these burrs off, this rough edge, and you can do that pretty simply by going like this and squaring, of course, you know, to file it out. But take the burrs off. You also want to take the burrs off the inside, which can be done kind of like doing this kind of motion with a sharp edge. The file works out nicely. When you get all done, it should look like this. You can see it's smooth around here and smooth on the inside. Once you have it at this stage, then you want to further clean carefully around here where the glue is going to go. You can do that with a piece of sandpaper and just rub it around a few times like this. And again, maybe just over the ends, make sure the burrs are nice and smooth, and it's roughed up a little bit, but the plastic's clean. And you take the fitting that you're going to insert it in, check to see if it's dirty to start with. It's, you know, if you just got it out of the store, it's probably not. But if it's been sitting in your drawer for a long time, just might want to clean out any dust with a rag, something like that. And then you do a dry fit test. You push it in, see that it fits in snugly, you give it a turn. Feels really good. I'm going to take it back apart. By the way, when you look inside these fittings, I don't know if it'll show up on the camera, but there's a little edge here that'll keep the fitting from going too deep. You want to get at least a third of the pipe into the fitting. The fitting edge was about here halfway, so you want to go in at least a third of the way, but if you can go all the way down, that's just fine. Now, before you get started with the primer and the glue, a couple of things to keep in mind for safety's sake. Number one, I recommend wearing gloves. You get this stuff on your hands, it's really hard to get off, clean off, and it's not good to have on your skin to start with. Make sure you read all the safety precautions on the cans. Also, you want to do this in a ventilated area because the fumes can be really strong. So we're ready to put on the glue and get these things together. Start out by putting on your gloves. If you're not sure how to do that, see the ViewDo on how to put on your gloves. We start out with the primer. Open up the can here, and it's very liquidy, very soupy. If you're worried about it dripping on something important, put something underneath it to protect it. You can see it's a nice little purple color, dripped off a little bit. And now we're going to apply a thin coat of it in here to the connector. You can see how it's really soupy. It's connected in there already, collected in there already. That's about all we want to do. Just slop it in like that. Okay, and we'll just set it down here for a moment. Once the primer's on there, we're ready to put on the ABS cement. Here's the ABS cement. You open this up, and notice this is thicker. Hopefully you can notice it, but it's thicker than the primer was. So again, you want to put this on carefully. You don't need to put on a whole lot. Don't need to be overly generous and have it sagging around everything. Here we go, once around. Even take off a little bit of the excess I had there. And then we're going to go once around on the inside here. Okay, to about the depth we plan it to fit. And there we are on the inside. And now we're ready. You want to quickly put this on. Don't delay, don't go have lunch before you come back to put that on because it won't fit anymore. Put it on, push it in, give it a turn, and then just let it sit. It's done. Leave it alone for 5 minutes. You know, usually take less than that to cure, but be safe. Leave it on for 5 minutes. Once that's on there, it shouldn't come off anymore. And it won't come off anymore. There's no way to pull that apart anymore. That's it.